What's up, everybody? Good evening. We are at Good Influence. I'm Anthony Spartacus Tamayo. I'm here as always with Modest Betty herself,
Hey guys.
April Rodriguez. Would you mind telling the fans the theme of our show today?
Today our episode title is No Losses, Only Lessons.
That's right. That's right. And again, if you guys are watching right now live, let us know. Talk to us. Let us know if you can hear us. Communicate with us the whole time. If you notice, we got some awesome bobbleheads in the front by Manny's Bobbleheads. We'll get into that in a minute because there's going to be a raffle involved. Let's see. We're on this side. Okay, so let's first of all, I know obviously we're not here at the collab today, but I still want to give a shout out to them because they've been nothing but great to us and everything, and we wouldn't have made it this far without them, And so I just want to give an extra shout out to the collab and everything. We'll be back over there next week. I want you guys. I want the fans to show up to the collab so they could see us in person, do our thing, and even ask us questions. That's the ultimate goal. So, but today, as you can see, we're here today, back in the old country.
But don't forget too. Next week we'll be at the collab on Thursday for our graphic novel league. So we'll be reading The Eternal.
Yeah.
So don't forget about that, and we'll also be there Friday for Ghoul Folk. But like you said, we're not here. We've been having like car troubles and stuff, so we decided to film from home today.
Yeah. We also have like a couple clients that we have, so it's.
Yeah.
I want to start off our segments here today with mutant news. We went to go see Venom yesterday. AP,
Yes.
I gotta know what did you like. I mean, I know what you thought, but can you tell the fans what you thought about Venom?
I thought it was good. There are parts of it that to me seemed a little bit overboard silly, like just a little bit at some times.
Too animated altogether. Yeah.
Sometimes, and then I didn't like I don't remember the female character.
Annie.
I wasn't too thrilled with Michelle.
Yeah, you know what? Me neither. Like, I wasn't really into her when she was trying to. I don't know what she was trying to pull, but like you said, the doughy-eyed.
Yeah, the very Marilyn Monroe. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. President. Type of,
Yeah.
I just
She didn't let it go.
It didn't feel natural. It just didn't feel natural.
Yeah, and I was telling AP last time that almost every single thing, like you see it, like the damsel in distress nowadays just wants to get in the way and start saving the fucking world herself. I was playing Spider-Man and I had that problem with Mary Jane. She kept on wanting to get involved, and he's like, "Okay, you're just another thing I got to worry about now." Regardless.
But, the movie, I thought the movie was really good. Other than that, it was funny and it was entertaining.
Witty, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was cool
enjoyable
too.
to watch,
I thought it was enjoyable and fun, and I mean, if you're familiar with Eddie Brock's character, he is a little bit like an adult Peter Parker. Like, he just is a man child, so he is that kind of arrogant,
Yeah.
and dim-witted and shit like that. But he came to be influential. Like, he's pretty cool as a character now. Like, I want to see where Eddie Brock's going next. I've been reading the Venom series and stuff, and it's really awesome. And when I read that and then saw the movie and the way he talks to his symbiote and everything, I was just like, that's the inner monologue I had in my head. Like, that's what it sounded like.
For Venom.
Yeah. And then I also thought it was kind of like hormone monster-ish, So, and what after at the end they had this. He looks very fucking. He looks terrifying. Like,
Yeah, he does. He does a good job of being that kind of crazy character.
the creep and everything.
Yeah.
Like, he has like this smile and just very above all. Like, I don't want to say Joker like because he's his own character. Cleus Cassidy is a psychopath.
Yeah, he's definitely crazy in his own way. You can tell.
Yeah, and like you see a little bit of a stare down between the two of them, as if they know it's inevitable for them both to eventually fight. So and then the Spider-Verse episode at the end, that was really cool. Hey, I forgot to mention, guys, this is all spoilers. But like you as a fan should have went to go see the movie already. But yeah, like the Spider-Verse thing, that was really cool. What is that, like stop motion or animated
It
motion?
looked like
or?
it was animated. It looked really cool. It was all these different spider people coming in together, and
Yes.
Miles Morales seems to be the main character of this one. So
Yeah.
it's cool. A different Spidey perspective.
I like the way Gwen Stacy looks too. Like
Yeah.
not just as like a spider, in her spider suit, but like with her hat off and everything, like her haircut. It was
Oh
fucking
yeah,
dope.
yeah, like a modern.
And then I like how Spider-Man looks like a man who's just went through the ringer. Like he's going through life. Like that's what you expect from a man like him. So I wanted to get to this. Like, and a lot of fans are talking about it. A lot of people are talking about this lately. As the Khabib versus McGregor fight that happened over the weekend.
Yeah.
We had mentioned it like our last episode about like watching the press conferences and then watching everything build up to it. Were you satisfied?
I was satisfied. Yeah.
Yeah. Why is that?
I was completely satisfied until it was nice to see Khabib win, and he mostly dominated. From what I saw.
Khabib.
And I get why people like Conor McGregor, but I think Khabib, he's skilled, and the whole idea of the UFC is to get the ultimate fighting champion.
Yes, exactly.
But it seems like people are more interested in the theatrics, which it makes
The drama
to me
of it, yeah.
seems more like WW.
Yeah. I even go beyond that, because even WWF and everything, they even admit it's a little bit of soap opera, in it, and that's what these guys want, is like drama and shit. And like, most people went to the UFC to get away from all that drama. Like when it first started, like they didn't go into anybody's background on who was doing what. And it's just like fight each other. It wasn't like the NFL and everything where everybody can get political. And now that everybody's got their money grubbing hands in it, they're very much measuring fighters by how much money they can bring in. And it's like, I thought this was the ultimate fighting championship, not the ultimate businessman. It's like, that's crap. And like, of course, like when you're protected by the boss, yes, good things are gonna happen to you and everything. But if I don't know, there's some guys in there who just won't kiss Dana White's ass, and fuck that. And I agree with them not to. And he's just, it's obvious, like he's very protective of McGregor. That's his golden goose egg,
Because afterwards he was saying how, everybody, even the announcers were saying how disgusted and how but these are the same people that gave Conor McGregor a fight after he did what he did. You know what I mean? And he, on top of that, he was antagonizing Khabib, saying all these things, and he was doing his best to stay calm. Like he's no GSP.
I guess at the very easiest, most simplest portion of it, like if you were, if you were taking care of a bunch of kids and you had a bunch of kids that like in a school, you're a teacher and everything, and this kid starts antagonizing this other kid, and you let it happen. You fucking let the whole thing ride. Recess comes, the fucking kid whoops his ass. You let it happen and everything. Are you surprised at all that Khabib did any of that?
No, I'm not. It seemed even after he won, he felt like antagonized by the situation. So winning didn't feel enough for him. Winning didn't feel like he, they're still antagonizing me. These other people who didn't even fight me, and I still won.
Yes, exactly. And it's not for every MMA fan out there is defending, like as a fan, they're staying true to their boy. Excuse me. Hey. Be quiet. See, we gotta be in the back over here again, and we gotta deal with dogs and shit. Pop up, shut up. So, like, what was I saying? Like Khabib and everything. Like like I said, they're protecting Conor, and they're just shitting on Khabib and everything. And we saw the video. I saw Conor throw a few punches at a guy climbing the fence. You can suspect that the guy was gonna go over there to fight or go over there to break up. We don't even know, but we do know that Conor punched him, got involved in his own way. Which was, it was fine, but when you talk shit, you get hit, and people seem to forget that. I don't know. You shouldn't be putting your hands on an unprofessional manner, all the bullshit and everything. But that shit went out the window when Dana White let McGregor get away with all the shit that he was doing.
Yeah, like they're antagonizing these fighters. They're pushing these boundaries. They set the fight up in the way that they with all this drama. So
Yeah.
what did they expect?
It seems like the outcome. It seems like the outcome is like everybody's upset that Khabib ended up winning. It's like it was set up for Khabib to actually lose this whole thing,
Yeah.
and
And it didn't work out that way. It just didn't work out that way.
Go ahead. Let's talk about Aquaman. Did you like? I was watching Aquaman and or the previews to Aquaman. Shit, man, it looks like the new Avatar. You know what I mean? Like it's the. Did you take a look at it?
I saw when we watched Venom. I saw some of it. Yeah, it looked pretty cool.
Like the how do you say, like the CGI and everything doesn't look too, like they weren't trying to quickly get rid of it and do it. They took time in this, and I'm gonna enjoy Aquaman. Like I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
We've been watching Big Mouth too. If any of our fans out there are watching Big Mouth, let us know what you think about that and everything. But AP, I want to know what you think about Big Mouth.
Big Mouth season 2 is really funny. Definitely pushes the boundaries of what it did last season. New characters, really funny, interesting. Like I said, they really pushed the envelope on this one. I thought it was really funny though.
Give me a second here. Fix this up.
Yeah.
So speaking of like Venom and everything, like I kind of, if you guys have seen Venom and you guys have seen Big Mouth, I kept on thinking Venom was a lot like he had a hormone monster, and he kept on like telling him what to do, getting him like all horned up. What seemed like it was,
or just like pumping him up, like
yeah, in the most worst time, the most worst everything. Let's see. So you want to go over the giveaway right now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm down for that. Let's do that. Okay, I've been excited about doing this giveaway because these are serious, awesome, freaking venomized bobbleheads. Okay, Manny's bobbleheads. If you go online to www.mannysbobbleheads.com, that's his, or you can go on his Instagram, which is Manny Bobblehead. On his Instagram, you'll find him there. He's wearing the Stormtrooper helmet. AP, could you explain
we'll tag him in the post.
Oh yeah,
tomorrow.
we'll explain to them how they can win
Tomorrow. Yes. So tomorrow we're gonna post up the post for the giveaway. You'll see a picture of these two awesome. We have Carnage here, and Venomized Captain America. They're super
So I'm gonna go
cool.
in for the kill on this
And
one.
these are bobbleheads. These are really, really cool bobbleheads.
Venomized Cap.
Yeah.
And Carnage. We were just talking about.
Super cool.
It's
Yes.
going to be Carnage, y'all.
And
It's
like
gonna be
I said,
Carnage.
they're bobbleheads. They're super cool. So these can be yours. So we're doing
For the low price of free.
Yeah. All you have to do is make sure you're following Manny Bobblehead. And like I said, we'll tag him in there so you can easily get his info. And follow Echoed Influence and then tag 3 friends in the post. You can enter as many times as long as you're tagging different people.
Yes.
And we are going to raffle off one to
The winner.
the winner. Which one?
We'll raffle the Captain America one off to the winner. And?
Excuse me. I got too excited. We'll raffle off the Carnage to whoever puts the most entries.
Yes, whoever has the most entries will get the Carnage, and it's going to be me. No, just kidding.
And then we'll pick the winner next Friday, which is Ghoul Folk, so you can come out and see the
The
actual
actual winner, and we can hand them out to him in front of everybody,
Yeah, woo.
and everybody will clap for you. It'll be amazing.
So come out to our live episode.
Real quick, I just want to say about Manny's bobbleheads. We've seen them at the farmers market in Pico Rivera, and we've seen them at the street fair on Mines as well. And man, he's got so many cool things. We got a couple of
Yeah.
things from him. We got our baby Groot from him.
Yes.
And he's now a star.
And him and his wife, they have she gets these really cute Disney and Marvel purses and bags and backpacks and stuff. They're really, really cute.
If you're a comic book fan and you're into collectibles, even anime, he has a lot of good anime stuff coming out soon.
Oh yeah.
So check him out, guys. And he's in Pico, so he has good prices and everything. Get all your Christmas shopping done now through him, So hats off to you, Manny. Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's move on to the failures and mistakes. Learning from experiences.
So the topic of our episode today is no losses, only lessons. So our idea behind that is that mistakes aren't bad. You know, a lot of times we think when we fail or when we mess up, we're so eager to tell ourselves terrible things and, you know, you're the worst, you're a failure, you suck at life, you're just awful. You know, we're so quick to do that, but we don't realize how important failures are to success.
I think what it is though, it's pride. Pride usually stops you from like you see failure as an ultimate like, you know, downfall and everything. Like, you know, you see it. Let me see it.
But I think that
I'm sorry, it went blurry.
I think that, like I said, it's something that we know innately, because my favorite examples are always that at some point when we were born, we didn't know how to walk.
Crawl even.
Yes, and we
sit
had to
up.
learn. And when we learned, we fell down a lot. We didn't get very far at first.
Yeah.
But we practiced and we practiced and we
They
practiced.
didn't say, this shit's not for me.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna walk. I suck at it, obviously.
Yeah,
so
no,
I'm just
and
not
like,
gonna
but
try.
like I was getting to, it was the pride factor. The pride makes you feel like you're not allowed to lose over and over and over and over and over. And honestly, that's whatever it is you're losing over and over and over at. That's the one thing you're going to be champion in. Like, and I don't think people take that part serious. It's the freedom to fail over and over and figure yourself out and whatever it is you're doing. You know, I'm actually like, thinking about fighting when I'm talking about this. You know, and you know, just there's a lot of prideful things. Like people will get so mad at themselves because they can't do what other guys are doing and everything. It's like, you know, first of all, you shouldn't be trying to do what everybody else is doing. Even in MMA, everybody else is doing front headlocks and they're fantastic at it, but you're not. You're probably meant to do the freaking slamming somebody on their head. You know, a lot of people get mad at themselves because they can't meet the level of others. But it's like, look at the perspective though. You're probably great over here. And you know, I just like I said, don't let your pride keep you from practicing what you do, you know, because failing is practice, you know. Just high-fiving.
Yeah.
Do you have any personal experience that we can learn from?
Well, like I was saying earlier, that the other example that I have for how we already know how to fail is because, like, eating, we have to learn how to eat with a spoon and a fork, and we get food everywhere. We get food on ourselves. We get food on the floor. And we have to keep trying. You know what I mean? And so
And not
it's
feed
like
the floor.
It's the same thing with anything else that we do. You know, any project that we learn, you have to keep trying, and it takes a while, and it takes time, and it's not going to come instantly. You know, like anything else. For me personally, my biggest mistake what I feel is my biggest mistake is I remember this one time I was practicing. I guess practicing business, being a business person, and I had made all these purses because I knew how to sew, and I was like practicing my purse skills, and I really liked making them. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try and sell my purses because the people had been buying them. Actually, I had sold like a good amount of them at that time, but not all at once. And so I was like, I'm gonna try it. I'm just gonna, you know, hold a boutique and just see if people will come out and buy anything. And I had like a nice little pretty tea party. I made like 27 purses, spent like $1,000 on everything, and I think I sold maybe like 3 or 4 of them. And I was like so broke all summer long, and you know, it just wasn't what I expected it to be.
I would say for me, like a common mistake. It didn't just happen once. It was just something that took a long time for me to learn. But like I said, the pride thing, it kept me from wanting to fail and stuff. But ultimately, those ended up being mistakes that you never forget, though. Like I recall this time just playing street football. It wasn't really street. It was like in the garden, you know, I was at my cousin's house, and they lived in Whittier at the time. And there's 3 cousins all around the same age, so they all had around the same age as me and everything, or neighbors. We're all playing football. They have like I you know what, looking at it as an adult, I see the lawn and how it is. I was like, what the fuck, why would I turn it up on the sideline right there, which was, you know, like this sharp rock. It was like sharp cornered rock that was a planter for everything. And I was like, I'm gonna squeeze through there and just fucking bolt. I squeeze through barely, and I trip, like someone puts their leg out to stop me. I trip. I'm sorry. I trip, I go flying, and they have like this seal. It's like a seal, and he's sticking out. And my head hits the seal, and my whole body turns because the impact of the seal. And so that was a mistake that I just kept on going, fuck that, I'm going to do it. Like, I can do it. I could fit. And then now it's like, like, if you can't fit, why do it? You know, like, and it, like, that.
For my purses, I was going to say, it was a mistake to me at the time. Like, it felt like a mistake because I wasted a lot of money, and you know, I spent a lot of money, was broke, but in the end I had learned a lot about business. I had learned a lot about, like, you know, like, people think that, oh, I'm gonna do this and everyone's just gonna buy it all out, you know, and it doesn't really work that way. You know, business is something that builds slowly over time, and you have to gain a customer base, and you know, it just takes time. And so for me, that was just part of a larger learning experience, I think.
Like, well, if we can, I just want to move on to people who like have made mistakes and they need to rectify them.
I see. They feel the need to. Some people just move on from them, and some people.
Well, they need to fix it, you know. And sometimes it's bigger than themselves, even, you know. So it's like, or they feel it is. You know, can you give me an example of one of those guys?
For me, I think it's Ford and Bernard from Westworld.
Oh shit!
But
that's a good one.
it's a very complex situation where you have, like.
If you guys ever watch Westworld, man, what a fucking show.
We with Westworld, you have Ford and Bernard, right? So Bernard, who is he made after? The original partner.
Oh, god damn it. You know, you put me on the spot.
I'm sorry, I forgot. But that guy, the guy Bernard, who is originally after.
It's gonna come to me.
He tries to rectify his mistake of making these robots that are conscious by killing them and having them kill him. Right? So he has Dolores kill him and all the others.
Yeah,
and
so
then
he can
so he can rectify his
and
mistake.
I think that's what he was trying to be that whole time. Like, look, I'm the proof. I'm right here. Like, I'm consciously talking to you after death. And it's like, well, how do I know? Like, you could have set this whole thing up. Look at your own creation. We know what they're going to say and when they're going to say it. And he's like, okay, keep thinking that.
And then you have Ford, who his way of rectifying what he thinks is the mistake is killing all the humans that are going to shut down the robots or the...
I see.
You know, so they're both trying to rectify their mistakes, but they're clashing and not really getting anywhere in it, it seems like.
I guess my example too would be, well, not two, but my example would be Charles Xavier. And he didn't really make any mistakes though, but he feels like he needs to carry the burden of all the other mistakes all the mutants are making. You know what I mean? Does like Martin Luther King did, like, you know, like, this represents Black America, not everything else that trickles out out the shit. And, you know, it's like this, and that's what Charles Xavier, he's constantly making up for all the bad, you know. And it's like, that's a noble thing. Like, he's taking on things that's not really his though, but, you know, he's constantly rectifying these mistakes that he feels that he's making. Let's see what else we got. Ooh, that's a good one. A big mistake. If you guys ever seen Infinity War,
Of course you have.
at this point, if you're watching this show, you watch Infinity War, and you know that Peter Quill made a huge mistake, like one of the biggest mistakes, and we can explore that a little further.
Yeah. So well, to me, I think. So a lot of people think that Peter Quill made a huge mistake, but he's so, like, how to say, like, he was just doing what he was passionate, you know. And honestly, I think it wasn't a mistake because Doctor Strange would have stopped it.
Yes, I knew you were gonna. Yes, realistically, yeah.
So for me, I don't really believe in mistakes. I think everything happens for a very specific reason, and if that happened, then it would happen for a reason. Like I said, Doctor Strange had said that he went through all the possibilities, and he found the only one, and this is.
So either Doctor Strange let it happen because he knew the outcome would be beneficial, or he told them all. Is that what you think? Did you think he told them all and be like, look, Quill, you're going to get a few free shots in, and you got to make it look convincing. You got to make it seem like you don't want this to happen, you know? And I don't know, like, something's going to play out, like, where it's like they had something incredible planned.
Where, like, well, Thanos wasn't supposed to be captured at that point, or Or if he...
Well, one thing that I noticed too is that like I think Doctor Strange knew Nebula was gonna come. So when they were fighting him, I noticed that they were like they kept him in one spot. Every time he tried to like evade or move somewhere, like Spider-Man held him down, and then they all held him in a place where she came and hit him.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking
Like
it
they
has
lined 'em
something
up.
to do with the glove at the
Gauntlet?
gauntlet itself. So maybe even if they capture Thanos, the gauntlet itself would still be whole, and it would be prone to people wanting to do evil things with it. So the only way to proceed forward is to destroy the gauntlet itself. And that reality of if they would have just caught Thanos, maybe that wouldn't have allowed it. You know.
I see.
So that's what I'm.
Well,
my guess.
don't forget, like if you guys watch Infinity War one more time, you'll notice that the stone was active when he was handing it over, like it was still glowing.
I see, like he had done something to it.
Yeah, as if it was already taken in effect. So just if you want, just one more thing about while we're on Infinity War, I was showing AP. Watch when Loki's getting his neck snapped, right? And then you look off into the back, and you'll see the spaceship, and there's like fog clearing up, and you'll see that there's like a figure. There's a figure that rises right there, and it makes me think that hey, it's fucking Loki. that like, and that whole thing that he's doing there, it's not him, but definitely there seems to be some figure there. Watch the Infinity War. If you have any questions, DM us and talk to us, and I'll be a little bit more accurate with it. Can you give us any examples of people who have constantly failed and kept going?
So obviously we're talking about mistakes, and we're talking about the importance of making mistakes, and how it leads ultimately to success. Some of the people that I've found, of course, J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, who I think before she was on welfare, she was super broke, she had her kids, and there was just a lot. She was going through a lot of struggles.
She wrote those books within a matter of years, like 3 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it was like it. It would take me for 3 years to write one book. You know what I mean? But like she went after it and did it without consideration of what the fuck else anybody else would really think. I believe, because it's like shit. It's either go, or I could stay here and keep correcting myself, and then it'll never get out there. But at some point, she was like, "Fuck it, this is good, go," and fuck what anybody else thinks.
Yeah, she's a great example. I mean, she's a great example of thinking that your life is not where it's supposed to be, and then bam, it's just happening. You know what I mean? So
I was just reading it. Sorry.
Failures aren't necessarily. Oh no, I was just getting my thoughts together. Failures aren't necessarily the end either. Failures are just a part of the story. And like I said, you ask any successful person, one of the most successful sports people ever,
Michael Jordan. Yes, that dude has probably failed. Like I remember reading a book about him when I was in school, and it talks about how he failed. I mean, like he missed a lot of significant shots, like buzzer beaters. You know what I mean? Like in high school and in college, and then once he got to the professionals, where everybody really remembers him, once he got there and he started making these buzzer beaters, it's when it mattered the absolute most. When he was in the NBA, when you can win the greatest championship in basketball that you can win. And he didn't do it just once. He did it a couple times. He did it probably all six, at least in one game in all of the 6 championships they placed out of 7. At least one of them, he makes like at least one sick ass buzzer beater where it's just undeniable. And it's like, you see, there was no comparison to Jordan back then. You know what I mean? And I believe Bill Burr said this, that you can compare Kobe to LeBron and LeBron backwards, and LeBron to a lot of people nowadays. And even when Kobe was playing, you can compare him to like Allen Iverson or whatever, like who was the best. But when Jordan was playing, there was no fucking doubt that dude was the best basketball player. Like no one could compare to him. But that's just my opinion, What's one more character?
One person that I also read about a little bit was Jim Carrey. I read that Jim Carrey's had like some crazy things that he had to do. I can't remember exactly now, but I know he had a lot of family things that he had to deal with. And when he first put his intentions out there, he wrote a check for a certain amount of money, and
I'm trying to see what Beans wrote. Go ahead, keep talking.
He put like a certain amount of money on the check. And
sorry, right in his ear.
Put a certain date on it to achieve it, and he did. I think right. That was right before he got Dumb and Dumber. I think.
Yes, and did you talk? when he put the check in his dad's coffin.
Oh no, I didn't. Oh,
no, yeah. He put it in his dad's coffin and everything, and that was really cool.
So I mean, Jim Carrey, obviously, he's so enlightening, and he has so many awesome things.
Especially nowadays, if you're catching Jim Carrey nowadays, that dude he's on another level. I mean, like, you don't have to believe or think everything as he does, but that guy, he has some very cool perspective.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For me, Spider-Man. Spider-Man's a key character for me too. Like in a lot of things, like I try to be like him, because like he knows the struggle. He knows what it's like to not just struggle as a superhero, but as a normal human being. So it's like that dude fails a lot just as a normal human being, and he doesn't even give up in that life. And he fails a lot as Spider-Man, and he refuses to give up in that too. So that makes me that's something to look up to.
Someone, definitely.
Someone who just doesn't fucking quit. Yes, resilience. And is also persevering as well. Like, who will find a way instead of just caving in.
Or, giving in.
What is resilience? I heard you say resilience.
Resilience is the ability to come back after failure and mistakes. The ability to like bounce back and keep going. Pretty much falling off the horse and getting right back on.
I see.
So. What we want to talk about a little bit is how to be resilient.
Yeah, how to build it.
I think a lot of times it happens, how to say it, like resilience itself happens in the moment of despair.
I see.
In the moment of despair, you choose whether or not you're going to let it stop you or you're going to figure out a way. I think if you look at sidewalks are paved for us, and that's the road most traveled. That's the easiest way to go down because it's set out for you. But there are times when the sidewalk is blocked and you have to be able to navigate. Yes, and that's just how life works. So I think being resilient kind of helps with that.
Yeah, and it's in the whole show too. It's like you don't look at them as losses, you look at them as lessons. I mean, realizing that they're mistakes that you've made, that's one way you're going to overcome like all the challenges and everything. Hi Sherry. Here she came. She's right. She's mad that we're not paying attention to her. But yeah, I think like resilience is made in the mistakes, or not even in, like once you made a mistake, fuck, okay, now I'm in this position. How do you overcome that? How do you get out of it? And that shows your character as well.
Oh, definitely.
And I want to be a resilient character.
Yeah. So it's important, like being able to overcome your fear of failure, overcoming your fear of not being perfect every time.
The pride thing, like I said earlier, just like you can't be afraid to constantly fail. That's a practice that you need.
It's funny. I think we talked about it last time, but his niece, we went to go watch his niece in her competition.
Oh, yeah.
And she was for me even, like, how old is she?
She's 13, I think. 13, going to be 14.
To me, she's an excellent example of what it means to be resilient, because I see her in there fighting and she pulls her emotions out of it and she just sees it as like a game.
Yeah, very proud moment for me as an uncle. I posted that up too. Like, she stood composed. I remember the other girl got emotional, and she headbutted her.
Yeah.
And my niece was just like, she wanted to cry. She like shook it off. And then focused in again, like, okay.
Because it becomes more, it's to her, it seems like it's more of like a...
she's trying to crack a safe and the safe just hit her. She's like,
yeah.
Wait a minute, you're a safe. Okay, you're just a safe. You're just something I have to figure out.
And when we have problems, like, I don't know about you guys, but like, I cry all the time. And I'm not afraid of talking about it. I talk about it all the time. But... crying to me is important because
just go ahead.
Sometimes it is important to get the emotions out first before you can even think logically, so to me it's if I want to think logically, I have to get all the emotions out of the way first, because they can really, your emotions are what's going to make you feel scared. They're what's going to make you feel like you can't do it. Those are, so.
Real quick, Beans had mentioned that he has better Funkos. Now, let me just let everybody know real quick. Beans collects things that he has no idea what they even are. Like, ask the guy when's the last time he even watched Conan O'Brien. He has all different kinds of Conan O'Brien, and he doesn't even like that guy. He has like a King Kong, has never even fucking watched it, I believe. I think he has it confused with Skull Island and shit. Like, he is the worst collector. But like, that's fine. Like, one day he's gonna need those and sell them, which is cool. And I'll be there to buy them because I know what the fuck they are. And by the way, Beans, these aren't ours. These are Manny bobbleheads. We're just giving them away.
In our raffle.
Go to Manny's bobbleheads and tell me you have better ones than him. I bet you don't. Anyway, just thought I'd crush your soul for a little bit. And now where we're at.
One of the other things about how to be resilient too, like I said, taking the emotions out of it is super important. not letting yourself get too emotional about a failure, because it's like anything else. Like when something's broken, are you going to cry about it? Or are you going to fix it?
Are you going to just figure out something else? Because sometimes
I
it's
do
something.
both, honestly.
It's something that, like, sometimes you can't fix it. Sometimes you just got to figure out a way to get another one.
Or figure out how to get around
or
it.
just move on. Fucking start.
Yes.
Like, if you break your PlayStation and shit, maybe it's time you started painting or something.
And your mistakes don't necessarily reflect on your values or your moral system or who you are as a person, you know what I mean? What reflects more on you is your ability to keep trying.
Yeah.
I think definitely.
Like Beans is trying to get my attention. I stopped looking at him. Beans even texts me on my phone right now.
And then
Beans, like, you know what's funny? It's because I can hear him in my head going, I'm watching. I know Conan. No, you don't, Beans. This is This is fun.
And then
finally someone interacts with us.
one last thing before we move on from how to be resilient. Like we said from last week's Crow, remember that it can't rain every day.
Yes, yeah, and if you've seen the movie, you know that quote very well.
And this will everything bad passes and good things will come again. So, try to find the beauty in even the worst of times and get ready for the best of times to come always.
Yeah, resilience always has a counter. You know what I mean? So
Definitely.
Before you get buried, dig your way out. Don't be a pussy. Sorry. Oh, yes. This we're doing next is counseling with comic book couples, and we have one read, just one little email. Let's see. Okay, it says, "Dear Echoed Influence, I have a boyfriend who is super dense. The webhead is constantly standing me up, and he doesn't have time for me as usual. I know it's the job," she put in quotes, "but did I make a mistake by giving him a second swing?" MJ.
What do you think?
I think when it comes to mistakes also need to be forgiven as well. Like if it's not a mistake that he wants to make, I know that he's making the effort. Otherwise you would have left already, because effort means a lot. Effort shows a lot. And I don't know, like one day, like you said, it's going to unravel. There's a silver lining. He really cares about you and everything, and there's something that could be worked out. Especially when it comes to the job, there has to be an extensive understanding, I think. So what do you think?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think people, like you said, people make mistakes and should be forgiven as long as they're putting in the effort, I think.
Yeah.
If they're not putting in the effort, then the mistake is just going to keep happening again, but people should be forgiven. I think a lot of people have trust issues, in relationships, especially like mistakes in relationships, I think is a very hard thing for people to get over. But it takes a lot of work on both people's parts to create that balance and to create that trust again, I guess. You know what I mean? It can.
Especially if you want to go forward with somebody in a relationship, it's like someone you go, okay, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with this person. Are they always gonna do that? I doubt it. You can't be old man swinging around.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Any other advice we can give Mary Jane? Not that I know who it is. But no, actually, I just think like a Chinese torture, you got to just let this shit unwind. You got to stop forcing certain things and making outcomes your own. Like, just this is the outcome I want. Make it the outcome that you both can have. Now we're moving on to the fantastical fan favorite. Interrealm Rumble. Sit in for this one, Beans. You're gonna love it. Again, I'm not reading anything you're writing. So today we have from Marvel, we have Blade. Now Blade is a vampire. Well, he's a day-walking vampire who has all their strengths and none of their weaknesses. He cares very deeply for humans. One weakness that he did gain from, or two weaknesses I would say, is the thirst, and he didn't gain their aging. He ages like a human. He does have a healing factor, but it takes like about a day for it to kick in. And then on the other side, we have we have Capcom's Dante from Devil May Cry. Now there's a gunslinger right there for you. He's a half demon, and he's a hunter. He's also a vigilante, and he's a detective, a private investigator. And you know that we're going from 2001's Devil May Cry. Let's not get too deep into it. Although all the reboots I thought were really good as well. But talking about Blade and Dante, just as I did, where's it swinging to you first, and talk about that guy first.